Out of the blue, how animals evolved from prehistoric seas. Hi, I'm Elizabeth. This is Hector. Welcome to the 5th video for Out of the Blue, how animals evolved from prehistoric seas. We've seen how life originated in the oceans, how animals evolved and changed over time in water and on land, how some animal groups came onto land and adapted to different ecosystems with different plants and animals in them. We've seen the invasion of the fishopods and how tetrapods spread out across the continents. But what about that very first question that we started with? Which two of these animals are the closest relatives? Hector's ready to wrestle with that question once and for all. We've been talking about animals moving from ocean to land, but guess what? Over time, some groups turned around, left their land-loving cousins behind, and headed back to the blue. It's 300 million years ago. Four-legged tetrapods, amphibians, and reptiles are spreading through lush forests of ferns. Some start laying eggs with tough, watertight coverings. This turns out to be a huge deal because life's about to change and not for the better. We know that animals and plants start with a common ancestor and diversify into different species. But to understand the big picture of life, we also need to consider extinction. Species die off all the time, sometimes leaving fossils. They can go extinct slowly and gradually or suddenly in major events called mass extinctions. Through Earth's history, 5 mass extinctions have wiped out the majority of animals and plants alive at the time. How do we know? Fossils, of course. Mass extinctions leave distinct markers in the fossil record as one biota, the animals and plants of a place or time period, disappear, often because of drastic changes to climate or intense volcanic activity. Mass extinctions are usually followed by a period of rapid speciation, when new life forms evolve to fill the niches in recovering ecosystems, making use of food sources and shelter with whole new sets of predators and prey. We use mass extinctions to separate the major geologic periods: the Ordovician extinction, the Devonian extinction, and the very worst of all, the Permian Great Dying. At the end of the Permian period, around 252 million years ago, this great natural disaster brought life on Earth to the brink, especially in the oceans, where 95% of marine animals disappeared. Earth slowly came alive again, but the balance shifted. Land had higher diversity, more different types of organisms than the oceans. Giant reptiles, including dinosaurs, roamed. Pterosaurs took to the skies. Reptiles returned to the sea as predators. 220 million years ago, ichthyosaurs reached 85 feet long. Flowering plants began to bloom, and then, oh no, an asteroid hit, wiping out those huge dinosaurs, except for birds. I know, Hector, the big dinos were impressive, but think of it this way. Once they're gone, it's time for the Age of Mammals. Evolution doesn't stop, of course. One family tree of mammals branches into 2 very different types of animals. One branch stays on land and becomes the hippos. Another branch of the family takes a different path. Around 50 million years ago, along comes a creature we call Pakicetus. It was around the size of a wolf. Okay, Hector, maybe it was poodle-sized, and it walked on land. But gradually, over a long time, animals on the Pakicetus side of the family returned to the sea. They lost their hind legs, their front legs were flippers. They look like fish, but they're not. And that is how the mud-loving, plant-munching hippo became the cousin of the fast-swimming dolphin and whales, creatures of the open sea. Other marine mammals like seals and manatees followed a similar path. It's important to remember that hippos are not the ancestors of whales and dolphins don't come from hippos. Instead, they share a long ago ancestor, many generations ago. That common ancestor didn't look like either of them. Both sides of the family changed drastically over time as they adjusted to new conditions, adapted, and evolved. Phew! Hector's exhausted. I hope you've been enjoying these quick tip videos, including sneak peeks at Out of the Blue with fabulous artwork by Fran Preston Gannon. Check out the book and my other videos and celebrate the long, amazing history of how life began in the prehistoric seas and then sometimes went back to the water again. Bye for now.